All right. So Sony buys Evo is the title. I'm gonna sit up here and read a quick article real quick. It says welcoming Evo into the PlayStation family. Sony Interactive and new esports venture RTS have jointly acquired the Evolution Championship Series, which started in 1996. It says, today we are thrilled to announce the next chapter of the story of PlayStation and EVO, the world's largest and longest running fighting game tournament. Sony Interactive Entertainment has teamed up with RTS to acquire EVO through a joint venture partnership with expertise spanning esports event management, brand and developer consulting, and game talent management. RTS is a new venture led by CEO Stuart Saw and backed by investors including global entertainment, sports, and content company Endeavor. Who's that is? I never heard of that company. It says Evo co-founders Tom and Tony Cannon will remain closely involved in an advisory role to ensure Evo continues to service the fighting game community, support its vibrant growth. All right. So, is this a good thing or a bad thing? In my opinion, I'm going to say it's a bad thing simply because if you're just going to do an online tournament, like what do you need Sony for? You're already excellent at managing in-person tournaments, so why not look out, why not get help from people like, Team Spooky, and other people in the FGC if you need help? That would have seemed like a better way to go about it. Get with people that are already doing online fighting game tournaments, and because I'm pretty sure they would have loved to help you guys. But the main reason I think it's a bad idea is because ever since Sony acquired Street Fighter and made it console exclusive to only PlayStation, Street Fighter has took a nosedive as far as the online because the online play is just horrible on PlayStation. And it's horrible on the computer at times too. But I would say the computer version is much more sturdy or stable. And go back to Street Fighter 4. Ask anybody who played Street Fighter 4 all the way through. Street Fighter 4 was kind of like it wasn't the first fighting game like played online, but I would say it was the one that kicked off like the YouTube videos and stuff like that. That and Mortal Kombat versus DC. Mortal Kombat vs. DC online was horrible. Street Fighters 4 online was terrible on PlayStation 3. I know this because when I first got Street Fighter 4, I had it for the PlayStation 3. And no matter whose house I went to and played, I would go over a friend's house, we would do local tournaments as well as play like other people online and record with a separate camera. This was before everybody started using capture cards and stuff. The PlayStation version was just slow and clunky, especially online. But you know what happened? I ended up getting the yellow light of death on my PlayStation 3 fat version, and I went and got a cheap 360 on Craigslist. And when I purchased Street Fighter 4 for my Xbox 360, I was like, oh man, at first I was bummed out because like, man, I got to pay to play online now. So I went ahead and bought the Gold subscription so I could play online, and it made a world of difference. The Xbox 360 version, that's what got me hooked on, on continuously playing online. The online connection was so good that, I had moved out of town, so I didn't have that many friends in the new city that I lived in that played the game. So, you know, I didn't have to drive, 50, 60 miles down the highway just to, get a good fix in on, playing games, playing Street Fighter or playing fighting games because I was getting a good experience on Xbox Live. So, aside from that, let's I don't know. So, like, what are they exactly like? What exactly is Sony gonna do for the Evo Championship Series that they couldn't already do for themselves? Like, did they get cut a check? Did the owners get, I'm trying to think that's what it is. I'm not gonna get mad at nobody for getting, money. They put a lot of time and effort into this venture, years ago, over 20 years at this point. So if they want to, go off and do something different, to possibly make more money, especially since everything got shut down last year. So they basically missed an entire year, because even the online got canceled due to the allegations from one of the co-founders. But I can't get mad at those guys for doing that. But I would say my concerns would be for, I know a lot of people joke about Smash and say, oh, it's not a real fighting game. But what are the Smash players going to do? Because those guys, every time I go to a tournament, they bring in their TVs, they're bringing their own game cubes out. They're dedicated to the game, and I know a lot of people want to say they're not a part of the community, but they are. I don't play Smash competitively or anything like that. I'll play it every once in a while. I'm not the biggest fan, but you don't have to be a fan of a game to appreciate it. I enjoy watching it on stream. So what about Smash? And then what about uh games like Killer Instinct down the road when Killer Instinct what if they remake a new one? Or what if Xbox makes have a console exclusive fighting game? Is it gonna be allowed to be played at Evo? I don't think it will. Like, I really don't think it will. The only reason I think Mortal Kombat is in there is because they have a good relationship with Sony. Because they'll do those. In the past they'll do like console exclusive characters and stuff like that with PlayStation. And NetherRealm and Warner Brothers, they have a pretty good working relationship with everybody. So yeah, that what about that's what I'm thinking about. Like, what about the games that are going to come out in the future that don't have like an established or good relationship with Sony? Are they just going to be kicked to the curb? So not sure about that. So like, Smash, like, man, what's gonna happen to Smash in the future? They got these 1,000 characters in Smash Ultimate, and like now, I don't think I feel like they just ain't got no place to play it at because Nintendo's shutting down the smaller, online tournaments for it. So I'm not sure. Well, I know those for the GameCube too, because I think since they were saying, hey, they were using emulators and stuff like that, that Nintendo didn't want them using it. But I'm not even sure if that was the real reason why Nintendo didn't want the tournament going on. But back to the online connection. So here's my top three online games. As far as online stability, you know, good stable connections, being able to find matches consistently and good matches. Here's my top three games. So number three is gonna be Mortal Kombat X on the Xbox One. Now, before anybody gets to talking, you can't call me no fanboy or nothing like that because I own every single major console that's come out since the 80s. Even though I got a 360 a little bit later in the life cycle, I still had it within like the first 3 years of it being out. I because I had it initially, but then I think I ended up once I got my PlayStation, I think I sold my white 360 that I had. But back to Mortal Kombat X. Mortal Kombat X on the Xbox One, I have flawless connections, with this. Because when I rage quit, I'm not rage quitting because somebody's, beat me. If somebody's beat me and, I know it's just better than me, I can handle it. But when I'm playing games like Street Fighter 5 and I can hear that I hit somebody and I made them dizzy, but then the rollback steps in, to save them, or if I can hear that I obviously hit somebody, but the rollback steps in, then I'll get frustrated and, cut the console off every once in a while. I never recall doing this for Mortal Kombat X. I got tons of offline footage in an older PC build that I used to. I used to like record MKX footage and just store it on there. This was back when I had my older channel. But yeah, Mortal Kombat X on the Xbox One was great. I tried playing it on PS4. Guess what? Horrible. I just couldn't do it. It was too much. I was getting a lot of drops. It would be not hard. I would find plenty of matches, but for whatever reason, I would get this teleporting thing going on very often on the PlayStation 4 version. So yeah. So we're gonna go to number two, Street Fighter 4 on what? Xbox 360. Because you know what? The PlayStation 3 version online was trash. And then even I'm not gonna get into a whole thing about PS3, but even like transferring, downloading the game and installing it, it just takes so long. And then at the match screen, it used to pause on PS3 for like it feels like 15 seconds sometimes. Like it would just pause. And then when the match did load, once you had all this lag and it just wasn't as consistent as the Xbox 360 version. Ask anybody who plays Street Fighter 4 through its entire duration. The Xbox 360 version is is the one to be online, especially is the one to be played on. It's the go-to. If you're gonna run an online tournament for Street Fighter 4, the Xbox 360 version would have been, the standard. The PS3 version sucked. The PlayStation 4 version was horrible and unplayable. The PC version, horrible. The PC version got better a little bit as time went on, but it couldn't hold a match to the 360 version. So number one, these are just games that I played online. Like I've played other games, Samurai Showdown online, King of Fighters, and all that. This is my personal top three games to play online, get consistent matches, stuff like that. Number one, Killer Instinct. You already know Killer Instinct. Once again, Xbox One. I know Xbox One got a lot of flack, at the beginning, but when it comes to online, man, it was just night and day. I don't since this never came out for the PlayStation. I can't compare it, but I want to say it's a pattern here with Sony having below average online experiences with games. Like I could play Killer Instinct night and day, and I don't know if it's due to the lax combo systems and stuff like that in Killer Instinct. Because the combos weren't that hard to do, but the once you got deep into the mechanics, into the mind games, then that's when Killer Instinct shined. I don't recall, like I probably had a drop here or there, but I don't recall consistently like dropping combos due to lag or I don't recall it at all. Like every once in a while I get a drop, but not nearly as much as you would get in like Street Fighter 4 on the PS4. Not nearly as much. I don't, you'll get a little, stuttering every once in a while, but for the most part, Killer Instinct Online is phenomenal. So back to Evo. So the premise of this video is, my own personal experience is that, flat out Microsoft Xbox consoles just have that do like they have better stable online connection. Even with Mortal Kombat 11. I bought Mortal Kombat 11 on the Xbox One just so that I could try out the online. And guess what? The online, even when you're doing the what you call it, the mixed platform, playthrough, even that one's seemed better. Even though I played way more matches on PS4 and PC than I did the Xbox One. PC is usually my go-to because I'm always sitting down at my computer. I don't want to have to always get up and turn the console on and all that. But and by the time I even bought it, yeah, I bought it because it was on sale. So when I even bought it for the Xbox One, it still's popping. It still's a lot of people online, and but the online experience just is better. So, you know, I know PlayStation dominated in the last generation of games. It looks like they're probably gonna dominate as far as not sales wise, because Nintendo usually knocks that type of stuff out of the park. But as far as like types of games that I'm into, if something new comes out on either console, either the new Xbox or the new PlayStation generation, I'm probably gonna get it. If something new and experimental comes out on, Nintendo Switch, I'm probably not gonna get it. I stick with, the Zeldas and some of the Marios and things of that nature. Immortal Phoenix, I like that. I copped that for the Switch. But yeah, overall, I just think that ever since the Sony started, sticking their hand in the cookie jar, I know everybody likes to say, "Oh well, if it was with Sony, we wouldn't have Street Fighter Five." Maybe that that might not be a bad thing. Maybe Capcom should have just struggled a little bit more, and then maybe they should have just struggled a little bit more, and came out with the game on their own so they could put it out on both platforms. But yeah, this video always already run a little bit longer than I wanted to. Peace out. Thanks for checking out the video. Like, subscribe.